Hi friends, it's Mr. Colby, and today we won't be learning a new note, that will be next week, but today we are going to be learning one song and one new, I guess, technique. The song is called Storytime, and it involves the notes, hold on, G, A, B, upper C, B, oh wait, I already said B, E, and D. And those are all the notes it involves. So, we'll go through, I'll play it once and then we'll play it together. Before I do, there is eighth notes tied into quarter notes. Now, if you remember what I said about dotted notes, like dotted half notes, dotted quarter notes, it's just that normal note plus half of what that note is. Since the eighth note is tied to the quarter note, it's still the same thing to a dotted quarter note. It's just the same thing. And I think that's the only weird thing we have here. So I'll play once and then we'll play together. Sorry, I messed that part up. Okay, now the last one is 5 notes long because it's a whole note tied to a quarter note. So keep that in mind. Now we'll play together. Remember, watch my fingers if you don't know the notes very well. Now, before I move on to the technique we're going to learn, you may have noticed I kind of went like G, da, da, da. That was on accident, but that is also a technique that is also used, mainly with Irish instruments like the tin whistle, or Celtic instruments. But yeah, that's a neat thing to know. Anyway, the technique we are going to be learning today is called staccatos. Now, staccatos look like a normal note, but they have a dot underneath it. So it would look like that. There's a little dot, you see it at the bottom of the measure. That's what a staccato looks like. Now, sometimes when the note, oh, perfect right there. When the note is high up enough, the dot will be above the note. The lower it is, it'll be on the bottom. The higher it is, it'll be on the top. I believe it's C and above, upper C and above. That's when the dot will be on top. Now, the way these are played, so let's say for a second that these are normal chord notes. They would sound a bit like this. Right? That's what a normal chord note is. But since they have staccato, it would just be like dot, 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 dot. So I would say think of it as like Morse code, you know, like where you communicate through little beeps. I'd say think of it like Morse code. It'd be Now it's going to be a little hard, as you can tell, as you could hear. I kind of squeaked a little bit, so it's going to be pretty hard. But I think you all can get it. But a good way to do these is saying tut as you blow through your recorder, or tur. So I'll do tut 4 times and then tur 4 times. Did you hear how it wasn't much of a difference? I prefer tut because it sounds more like tut. But that's how staccatos work. It's just ba 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 ba. It's not half the note, it's just a quick da 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 da. So for half note, it'd be like you still wait out the note length, but you just ba ba, you know? Alrighty. So I'll play it once and then we play it together. Now the weird all 4 of those notes were tied. And I don't think we've had that so far yet, but if there's a tie connecting from one note to another note, that still involves the notes in between. And I'll show it to you. So if the notes are within the tie, it still counts as tying it together. So all 4 of those are connected with one breath, instead of just this, because then it would look like tie from note 1 to note 2, and then stop with a tie, and then from note 3 to note 4. That's 2 separate ties. This on the paper, on the sheet music, is one big tie. Alright, now we'll play together. And that is staccato and story time. Thank you all for paying attention and learning, and thank you for your time. I honestly had a lot of fun. Now, just a quick heads up, next week is the final thing. And the final thing is just the note upper D. Now, I'm excited for that. So, I'm excited for that because that's around the time I can get your rewards ready. But you have to, follow along the guidelines of the awards. So until then, bye friends.